Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today in this video we'll be talking about acanthamoeba keratitis. As the name suggests, acanthamoeba keratitis, it is a type of keratitis which is caused due to infection with Acanthamoeba castellani. Acanthamoeba castellani, it is a protozoa of the genus Amoeba. It is found in soil, fresh water, seawater, well water and air. It can occur in two forms, that is trophozoite forms and the cyst form. It can survive in diverse conditions and it does not require a host. There are various diseases which can be caused due to this organism, like keratitis, granulomatous encephalitis, and fulminant meningoencephalitis. And in this video, we'll be talking about Acanthamoeba keratitis, that is the keratitis which is caused due to Acanthamoeba castellani. The mechanism or the mode of infection is the direct contact of the cornea with the contaminated water or other material. The risk factors are in contact lens users who use homemade saline which is contaminated with tap water and the saline tablet. In non-contact lens users, it occurs due to the injury with the contaminated material like the vegetable matter, muddy water, hot tub use, etc. In non-contact lens users, 90% of the cases occurs due to exposure with the vegetable matter or the muddy water which is contaminated with the organism. And it can also occur as an opportunistic infections in persons who are suffering from bacterial keratitis, viral keratitis, bullous keratopathy, and neuroparalytic keratitis. Clinical features. Talking about the symptoms, the patient can either present as asymptomatic patient or the symptomatic patients. The symptoms can be pain, which is mild to severe, and the pain is disproportionate to the inflammation present. There can be foreign body sensation, lacrimation, photophobia, blepharospasm, and the blurring of vision. Talking about the sign, it evolves over a period of several months as a gradual worsening keratitis with the periods of re-emission in between. It includes epithelial lesions, scleral lesions, limbal lesions, and the stromal lesions. The epithelial lesions, these occur initially and includes epithelial roughening and irregularities, which are often mistaken for the punctate epitheliopathy. The epithelial ridges are also present, which is basically a raised epithelial lines and which are initially typical reticular pattern. Radial keratoneuritis, which is seen in 50% of the cases, is responsible for pain which is disproportionate to inflammation. Pseudoneuroids formation can also occur, which may be mistaken for herpes simplex virus keratitis, and the epithelial and subepithelial curvilinear opacities may also be present. Limbal lesions. The limbal lesions includes limbitis, and it is also seen in the early cases. The stromal lesions, they occur over a period of weeks and includes patchy and satellite infiltrate, ring infiltrate, which can be central or paracentral with the overlying epithelial defect and the underlying keratic precipitate. The ring abscess, which is associated with stromal necrosis, and the hypopine may occur at the later stages and mimic suppurative keratitis. The scleral lesions include scleritis, which can either be of the anterior type or the posterior type. The anterior type being more common, and it can either be nodular type or diffuse type and may be continuous with the keratitis. The posterior scleritis, it is less common, and if it occurs, it may be associated with optic neuritis. The differential diagnosis of Acanthamoeba keratitis is viral keratitis, fungal keratitis, and suppurative keratitis. It can be confused with viral keratitis due to the epithelial lesions and the early infiltrates, especially the pseudodendrites. It can be confused with the fungal keratitis due to the presence of ring infiltrates with hypopyon. And it can confused with suppurative keratitis in the stage of stromal necrosis and ring abscess formation. This is a picture of Acanthamoeba keratitis. This presents the radial keratoneuritis. This one is the pseudodendrites. It is seen over here. This is ring infiltrate, and this is the ring abscess. The diagnosis is based on clinical diagnosis, confocal microscopy, and the lab diagnosis. The clinical diagnosis, it is difficult, and it is made by exclusion with strong clinical suspicion of the non-responsive cases who are treated for herpetic, bacterial, or the fungal keratitis. The confocal microscopy, it is a diagnostic and allows the direct visualization of the cyst. Lab diagnosis is also done. The specimen is corneal scraping. The Various tests are performed like potassium hydroxide mount, chalcofluor white stain, lactophenol cotton blue stain. All these tests are used to visualize the cyst. The specimen can also be cultured on non-nutrient agar like E. coli enriched agar, and if the test is positive, then after 48 hours trophozoites can be seen, which gradually changes into cyst. The PCR can also be done for amoebic DNA confirmation, and corneal biopsy, it is done in non-conclusive cases, and it may also be positive for the cyst. Once the diagnosis is confirmed, then treatment of the case is done. The treatment is divided into specific treatment and the concurrent treatment. In the specific treatment, the most important one is the use of the topical anti-amoebic drugs. Here, multiple drug therapies are done for a long time. If there is early epithelial lesions, then the treatment is continued for 3 to 4 months, while if there is stromal lesion, then it is continued for 6 to 12 months. The drugs which are used are propamidine isethionate 0.1% with polyhexamethylene bigonide. It is the drug of choice in case of acanthamoeba keratitis. The other drugs which can be used in combination are chlorhexidine with neomycin or paromycin with clotrimazole or miconazole. Here, these topical drugs are instilled hourly for a week, and then they are tapered over a period of several months on the basis of whether the disease is of epithelial type or the stromal type. And in case of epithelial type, the drug is continued for 3 to 4 months, while in stromal type, it is tapered over a period of 6 to 12 months. Oral ketoconazole 200 mg BD is used in advanced cases. Long-term prophylactic therapy with polyhexamethylene bigonide is used twice a day for a year. Penetrating keratoplasty is done in non-responsive cases, and it is performed after a full course of maximum medical therapy and a quiescent phase of at least 6 months. The concurrent therapy, it includes a use of cycloplegic drugs like atropine 1%, use of vitamin A, B complex and C for early healing of the disease, and for edema and the pain, NSAIDs can be used like paracetamol with ibuprofen, and dark goggles can also be used. The patient should have a good rest and a good diet for the early healing of the disease. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you like the videos, and stay tuned for more videos.